Welcome to the third ever episode of Texas High School Hoops, presented by Game On Sports. That's Matthew Brice. I'm Spencer Pattison. We got Jake Dexter on the sticks making all this happen. Beautiful set, beautiful place, beautiful day here in Dallas. Matthew, how's your weekend been?
The weekend was fantastic. Hung out with the wife, hung out with the babies. The Cowboys beat the Redskins. That's always good.
Love it. Love to hear it. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good week for us. It's been a good week for the podcast. I want to thank everybody for all the support that has been going our way. I mean, it's just so cool to see so many people just showing the love. So thank you very much for all of that. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's do what we do every week and talk about the ESPN SCNEXT Top 25 and the Texas teams that are in that Top 25. And, well, some disappointing news. No UIL teams in the top 25. Dynamic Prep is in there. They are at number 6. But we don't really talk too much about prep ball. Great team. Really great team. And especially on the national level, they play a really tough schedule against a lot of really good teams. But ESPN, I got one question for you. Where's Plano East? Where is Plano East?
I mean, maybe I'm overrating them, which I could be. You know, I'm no expert. This is all an opinion anyway, right? So I could be overrating Plano East, but I got questions, man. Where are the Panthers? Like my man said, are we going to show them any love?
And we talked about this a little bit before the show. And I personally think that they are not in the top 25 because they don't have the names that pop out like a sore thumb, like Cooper Flagg or Trey Johnson. I mean, their leading player, who is a beast, TJ Hall, I personally love him. I think he's completely underrated, one of the most underrated players in the state. He's a 3-star, so him kind of leading the way is not good enough in ESPN's standards. But they haven't lost a game. They're 22-0 against a really difficult schedule. They're a team to watch. They should be in the top 25. But, hey, ESPN, I'll give you 1 week. All right, 1 week. If they're not in the top 25, we have some problems. You know, we have a lot of fun segments.
We do.
It's our third episode. We're going to introduce a lot of new segments, but this next one is going to be one that I know it will stick, and I know it will be so much fun every single week. So can I hear it? Upsets, anyone? There's some upsets.
Uh-oh.
There are some upsets, 1 in 5A, 1 in 6A that I want to talk about. Let's start out with 5A. Birdville upsets Argyle, the number 6 team in 5A, 52-46.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Birdville was not ranked, right?
Birdville is not ranked.
Argyle was number 6.
Was number 6. Keynote. We'll get into that. Was number 6.
So, obviously, that's a big win for the Hawks.
Oh, big win. Sawyer Dotson had 15 points. Luke Balderas had 12 for Birdville. They dominated. They held Argyle to 5 points in the third quarter.
No matter how much the game of basketball may change, everything stays the same. Defense, 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 and fundamentals. You play defense and you play fundamentally sound basketball, you have a chance against anyone. That's what Birdville does. That's what they did. That's why they won.
It's true. Big win there. Argyle drops. We'll talk about the rankings here in a minute. 6A, Johnson, a team that I love. They have been causing some noise in 6A. Very excited to see what they end up doing this season. And I'll be following along the way. They upset Austin Westlake, number 14 in 6A. And it came on a buzzer beater. Sam McKinney tipped in the game-winning shot at the buzzer. And, you know, this game reminds me of some game last year when Johnson upset Westlake, who was on an 85-game district win streak, which is just absurd. Johnson beat them last year 70-42 to end that district win streak. I wasn't here last year. So when I was doing my research and found that, I was like, wow, Westlake has been a very good basketball program for a very long time. and Johnson just beat them 2 years in a row.
And first of all, we got to give you some credit for doing your homework.
Hey, I love basketball.
That's number one. So the fact that you are a student of the game, that has come out. And we have to love that. We have to acknowledge that. And we got to give you your love for that, brother.
Appreciate it. Shout out Sam McKinney, doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. The buzzer beater was great. I mean, it came off the rim, or it might have missed the rim. It either came off the rim, missed the rim. I mean, he did not have very much time to react, and he's just slowly got the rebound, put it back up. It was beautiful. Maybe we'll put it on the screen, but a great upsets. We'll keep you updated every single week. Top 25 out in the TABC ranking. Some of my favorite things to go through. I got a lot of notes. We'll start out with the big dogs. We'll start out with 6A. Not a lot changed. The top 13 teams in 6A remain, stay in their same spot. First to move is Shadow Creek. They move up from 16 to 14. Westlake falls from 14 to 19 after that loss to Johnson. And then 2 teams fall out of the rankings entirely. Duncanville, who was at 19, they lost to Waxahachie. And we'll talk about that game a little bit more later, multiple times, because of how ridiculous that game was. And then Arlington Martin, who was at number 21, fell out after their loss to Haltom.
And I'll tell you this, I'm eating a lot of crow because I know Duncanville is young.
Very young.
But I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I said the championship pedigree is going to keep them afloat. And obviously, as of right now, that is not the case. So they fell out of the top 25 rankings, and right now, deservedly so. You know,
Right.
Maybe Duncanville will come back and take the district by storm. But it's going to be a tough climb.
It's true. The 2 teams that jumped into the top 25 was Johnson. They've had a number of great games recently. They jumped up to number 18, all the way up there. And then Waxahachie jumped into the top 25 at number 22. So both those teams in the upset alert got into the top 25 right after. So how big of an upset was it really?
Well, I guess it depends on who you ask.
That's true.
Because some people will say it wasn't an upset at all. And then some people, again, depending on who you ask, they may say, well, a small upset. But I will say this, Waxahachie, we see you. And we have to give you some love as well, because we did not speak on you at all in the first 2 episodes.
And I really can't even call that an upset. They had a much better record than Duncanville. But they weren't ranked. Duncanville was. So, they did their thing. Let's move to 5A. The team that we should talk about, Argyle, they were at number 6 last week. They dropped to number 11. Now, every team from 7 to 11 jumped up a spot. And not a ton of movement other than Ellison and Leander Glenn dropped out of the top 25. Ellison lost to Shoemaker, that district is fantastic. University, Shoemaker, Ellison. I'm excited for that district. We'll preview some of those games coming up in that district. But Shoemaker's a really, really good team. Ellison dropped out. Leander Glenn lost to Cedar Park. And Shoemaker jumped up into the top 25 at number 19, and Midlothian jumped at number 25.
Lancaster, 14-5 at the top. They're still holding strong, playing some good ball. You got W.T. White. They moved to 15-4. They are at the 5 spots. And I'm sure we're going to talk about their game that they just played the other day.
Oh, yeah. Big win.
Very big win. And then, of course, you got Leander Rouse. You got Mansfield Summit, Frisco Lone Star, and the Colony rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, 9 and 10 right there. That's massive. Love those teams. And they play each other later in the week. 4A now. Dallas Carter and Houston Washington swap spots. Dallas Carter was at 5. Houston Washington was at 4. They swapped after Dallas Carter won in a game between the two. Aubrey, the team to watch in 4A right now. My goodness, they jumped from 23 all the way up to 14 after beating Dallas Pinkston. Dallas Pinkston ended up dropping to number 21. But no teams dropped out of the top 25. That means no new teams in there either. So it's the complete same top 25, which I think is really cool. And 4A, that's a class to really watch and keep an eye on. There's some fun basketball going on. I mean, Dallas, Carter, Houston, Washington, so many Division I prospects in that game.
Absolutely. And, of course, my hometown, Fort Worth, Eastern Hills, they still holding strong at number 1.
Oh, yeah.
With Faith Family at 2. And you got Kenyon Randall out there in the Panhandle. They are a Region 1 power. And I think the only reason why they don't come out of that region is because someone in their own town, a rival, 2 rivals in Canyon High and Canyon West Plains, who both are also ranked in the top 25 as well with Kenyon Randall.
4A looks fun. And, of course, Kennedale, Crum, Anna, those 3 schools, 9, 10, and 11, so much fun there. Faith Family, of course, Oak Cliff Faith Family is doing their thing as they've been doing. But that'll do it for the rankings. So much fun. So many fun things happening in the top 25 in so many different areas. Now, another segment brand new to the show, Player of the Week. We got a very, very fun player this week. He did everything correct. Waxahachie's very own King Grace. He's a 4-star, the number 2 prospect in the class of 2025 in Texas. He had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks over a very talented Duncanville team. He was a massive piece in that win. But what I like most about King is his shot selection. He is such a smart player. He knows where to take shots and when to take shots. He does not take dumb shots, and that's why he's got so many points. He's just so fun to watch. He's number 34 in the nation in the class of 2025, and he's got plenty of offers from plenty of Power 5s.
One of the best basketball IQs at the high school level. Also has a higher IQ than quite a few college players. Number 1, you talked about the shot selection. Now, King Grace, as great as he is when it comes to scoring the basketball, and I've said this about other players as well, but I'm not ashamed of beating a dead horse when I say being able to play basketball without the ball, that is important too. That also shows up on tape, and college recruiters, they look at that. Can you play ball without the basketball? The fundamentals. Taking plays off. Are you playing both ends of the court? Even if you may, even if you may be lacking in a certain part of your defense, effort is what they look for. King Grace has it all, and he has the name.
Oh, yeah. What a name. What a fantastic name.
Can't beat that.
Absolutely not. He earns the Texas High School Hoops Player of the Week. Waxahachie, they could win that district, and they're going to be so much fun to watch. Now, we talked about 4 games last week in last week's episode, talking about previews, excuse me. We're going to recap those games. Plus, we got 3 games I also want to talk about that we did not talk about last week that were very fun. Let's start out. Kimball, the reigning 5A state champion, versus W.T. White. W.T. White ended up taking it 63-53. Kimball had a 3-point lead at halftime before W.T. White held them to just 9 points in the third quarter. Stephen Cruz of W.T. White with a cool 18 points. And Kimball's Jalen Dean Vines had 16 points. That dude, he is a beast. Fun game. What are your thoughts?
W.T. White to be down 3 at the half against the reigning state champs and a perennial state power that is the Kimball Knights. And the fact that you didn't fold. See, that's what you got to look at as well, Spencer. When you looking at a team that's playing the reigning state champs and they're down at the half, even though they have a better record, even though Kimball came into that game with 1 or 2 district losses, it's easy for a team to say, you know what, let's pack it up. Let's get to the next one. W.T. White did not do that. You know, they went on a 14-9 run in the third quarter. They outscored Kimball 14-9 in the third, and then outscored them 23-15 in the final quarter to end up with a 10-point victory when it was all said and done. W.T. White, that was a statement win. Now, of course, they're going to have to see Kimball again. They're going to have to see South Oak Cliff again as well. So those two teams are still very, very tough. They still play very good basketball. It's going to be fun to see what they do down the stretch.
I think W.T. White has a good shot at going all the way this year. They're so fun. Great win. Great team win. And Stephen Cruz, that's a dude you're going to want to look out for. Geyer versus Allen. This was a fun game. Number 6, Allen. Allen wins 71-52. Kind of what we thought. Oh, by the way, predictions from last week. We'll keep you updated with those. We both picked Kimball last week. So W.T. White upset us both. Now we'll talk about Allen versus Geyer. We both picked Allen in this game. 71-52 final score. Allen won. And kind of a similar story. Geyer led by 3 at the half, but then Allen came out, dominated, and outscored Geyer 23-9 in the third quarter. Very similar right there. Allen just dominated. They were led by Caden Myers, who had 17 points, and then Geyer was led by Silas Rodriguez, who had 17 as well.
And not just that 23-9 third quarter that Allen had, but for the total in the entire second half, they outscored Geyer 43-21. That was pure domination. I don't know what coach said at halftime. He probably said enough to peel paint off the wall.
We talk about Allen way too much on this, but honestly, I'm not upset with it. They are such a good team. They have so many fun pieces. Caden Myers is just showing up. He's a beast. There's so many pieces on this team that too many to talk about. Honestly, we've already talked about all of them in past episodes. So for them to keep doing what they're doing, and they're well on their way to win that district. McKinney, that game against McKinney that's coming up, that's going to be a big game, playing them for the second time at Allen. Should be a fun one. Next up, Plano East versus Plano, the number 1 team in the state, taking on their rival in Plano. Plano East beat Plano 68-53. What a fun game it was. So many fun pieces doing their thing. Plano East ended up dominating, obviously. But there was some fun talent on the court. Tyron Mason, 3-star North Texas commit, played really, really well against the number 1 team in the state. And he scored a whopping 27 points.
27 points for Tyron Mason. Of course, the great DJ Hall on the other side with 22. You had Jordan Meisel with 15. Isaiah Brewington with 10 for Plano East. Plano East continuing to play great team basketball. That's what it's all about, particularly at the high school level. Great team ball, and I can't stress it enough, fundamentals. Plano East also rebounds the basketball very, very well. They crash the boards better than most teams that I've seen. And if you can play good defense and rebound, you got a chance every night. And there's a reason why you're 22-0 now?
Yeah. I'm just going to say it. DJ Hall is not a 3-star. He is not a 3-star at all. He is at least a 4-star. He has been so fantastic this season, leading Plano East in every single way he can, getting his teammates involved, playing great defense. He was a big piece in the Stony Point game. Yes. Playing a fantastic defense against Josiah Mosley. That's exactly what he needs to do. He should not be a 3-star whatsoever. Speaking of great games, maybe one that you have been to recently, Frisco Lone Star versus Newman Smith. Our game of the week last week, Frisco Lone Star ended up winning by 10. The number 10 team in 5A wins 69-59. Nick Cody, he had 8 points. Trent Perry had 14. Those were the two we wanted to look out for. Lone Star held Newman Smith to 7 points in the second, which was really the the big key to this game for Lone Star was that second quarter. But how about Amaru Martin scoring 17 points? And then on the other side, Newman Smith, Jannard Toney III, and Calvin Blue with 15 each.
Amaru Martin has one of the prettiest jump shots I've ever seen in my life. Now, again, I'm no expert, but I love the game. Been a fan of the game since I was a little bitty boy. I've showed my age enough on this show, and I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But Amaru Martin, like I said, one of the greatest jump shots I've ever seen. The form is perfect. You can tell that jump shooting is an art to him. He takes it seriously. He studies it. He practices it. And a great jump shooter would go a long way. But Amaru also plays both ends of the court. Now, of course, the great Trent Perry, he only had 14. Trent, just like some other gentlemen that I spoke about earlier, Trent is great at playing without the basketball. That's the thing that impressed me the most about him. And he is not afraid to attack the basket. Now, quite a few guys on the court that wasn't afraid to attack the basket. Newman Smith had a couple of them, particularly with Calvin Blue. Calvin Blue plays with a lot of energy. Jannard Toney as well. Nick Cody, get well, son. We hope to see you again on the court. We don't know the extent of the injury, but he did go down toward the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth.
I'm curious to hear your overall thoughts on this game because it was a great game between two really great teams with a lot of talent. Not looking at the players, just looking at overall team basketball against each other, what was your thoughts?
It was great on both sides. This was a 49-45 game at the start of the fourth quarter. It was a great defense on both ends. That's what I noticed the most. Both teams play great team defense. Both teams are well coached. Coaching has both of these teams in a great position. Now, they do have to play each other once more down the road for another district matchup. But I expect that game to be even closer the next time.
I'm excited for it. This district is just ridiculous. Frisco, Lone Star, Newman Smith, the Colony, and then Frisco as well. I mean, they're one of the best districts there is. So much fun. So many fun players. I really like Calvin Blue. He is electric. He is super athletic. He had a ridiculous dunk over the Colony. Just soared into the sky. That dude slammed that down. Calvin Blue is one of the most exciting players. I don't believe he has any offers. So that surprises me because of how athletic and fun he is to watch.
Well, I'll tell you what, the fact that he has no offers, someone is falling asleep at the wheel out there. And I'm no recruiter. I've never dabbled in recruiting too much, but someone is falling asleep at the wheel because, again, he knows how to play without the ball as well. Basketball IQ is everything. And I saw at least 5 players on both teams, whether it's Nick Cody, Trent Perry, or Amaru Martin, Keelan Sanders for Newman Smith. All of these guys had a very high IQ. I was impressed with both teams.
Well, Calvin Blue, a senior, he'll find his home. I'm sure of it, especially if he keeps playing the way he is his senior season. Someone's going to wake up. Somebody's going to give him an offer. He's an exciting player to watch.
The tape does not lie.
Not at all. I want to talk about a few games that we did not mention last week. Some brief mentions. I went to a game on Friday night. I was play-by-play. Highland Park versus MacArthur. Highland Park just dominated this game. It was supposed to happen. MacArthur, they're a very, very young team. They are exciting, but they're a very, very young team. Highland Park, one of the better teams in the district. 68-49 was the final score. However, something I wanted to note, Jordan Stribling, we made a post about him. He's the number 10 baseball player in Texas, according to Texas PBR. He is a left-hand pitcher. His fastball gets up to 94 miles per hour. He scored 14 points against MacArthur, all on dunks. Bunch of alley-oops. Bunch of just yama slammas, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know if that's I don't think people say that. It's just something.
That's something you just made up.
That's the play-by-play in me, just saying the most random things, having fun. But Jordan Stribling, he is fantastic. Sometimes he'll go up with most times he'll go up with his right hand, even though he's the lefty. Really, I talked to him about it after the game. I said, is that because, you're pitching and you want to keep that left hand available? And he's like, well, kind of. I think he just likes to dunk. It doesn't matter. He had so many scars and bruises and red marks on his wrist just from slamming it so hard. He's a beast. He's fun. Another guy I actually really want to talk about in that matchup was Jakyron Madden. He only had 8 points, but he's averaging 18 points a game. Dude's a beast. Dude's going to be fun. He's just a sophomore. That whole MacArthur team, very, very young. Should be fun. Next up, Duncanville versus Waxahachie. We talked about it multiple times already. Waxahachie wins it 76-58, upsetting, quote-unquote, Duncanville. Waxahachie was down 32-28 at the half, but completely turned it around once King Grace caught fire. Just a fun game. Don't really need to get into it too much more other than King Grace is like that. And then a 4A matchup, one that I know you want to talk about. Houston, Washington, the previous number 4, now number 5, loses to the number 5, now number 4, Dallas Carter, 78-67. Now it was 54-52 Carter at the end of the third before they outscored Washington 24-15 in the fourth. Washington's Otis Carter had 31 points. He was ridiculous. And Chris McDermott, the number 9 player in Texas in the class of 2024, had 21 points, 12 rebounds. A cool double-double for him. And then 4 players had double digits for Carter. SMU signee Chance Perrier had 20 points. Cole Williams followed with 18 points of his own. Chance Perrier, he's a fun player to watch. Number 15 player in Texas in the class of 2024. I just said way too much. You take it away.
Well, you didn't say too much. Now you were on the roll, and I was not going to interrupt you because you were in the groove. So, great, man. That's great work. That's great work. And Booker T. Washington coming up from Houston, 4-hour drive on the bus, and played that game in Carter's gym on their campus. So they went into Oak Cliff, and they played a tough game for 3 quarters before Carter pulled away. And like you said, Carter came in number 5, Booker T came in at number 4, so they swapped spots in this week's top 25.
And that just shows you how ridiculous that matchup was. I mean, for Washington to lose by 11 and only move down 1 spot just shows you how good Dallas Carter is and how much respect there is to both these teams.
Absolutely, and respect is deserved too, because both of these teams, and I know I picked Forward Eastern Hills to win it all, but either one of these teams could have something to say. Either one of these teams could snatch the rug from under the Highlanders and take home the 4A crown. It is very, very possible. It's wide open, and it's still very, very early. A lot of things can happen. Carter still got to play Pinkston in district. I know they just lost to Aubrey this weekend, but we're going to see what happens when it's time, when it gets real, when district play starts.
I completely forgot. We have to rewind a little bit. Plano East versus Plano. We forgot to talk about our predictions. You picked Plano East. I picked Plano East. We both got it there. Frisco Lone Star versus Newman Smith. We both got that. Or no.
I picked Newman Smith.
You picked Newman Smith. That's right. I picked Frisco Lone Star. So I went 3-1. You went 2-2.
Right.
Last week. Hopefully, I'll wish you the best of luck for next week and see if you can do anything. We have more games this week, so more chances for you to get things right, but also more chances for you to get things wrong. Yeah. And let's talk about them right now. Games of the week. Let's have some fun. Lots of Tuesday games on January 9th, a few Friday games on January 12th. Let's start it out. Veterans Memorial, the number 2 team in 5A versus the number 24 team in 5A, San Antonio Wagner. I'm going to preview it. We're going to go back and forth maybe. If you have any thoughts, you say them, and then we're going to pick you'll go first. I'll go second. Here we go. Wagner, 14-7 on the season, 2-1 in district play. 7 players are averaging 7+ points. That's good basketball right there.
It is.
Out of those 7 players, 3 are sophomores, 3 are seniors, and there's 1 junior. Very young team. On the other side, Veterans Memorial, 24-1. Only 1 loss to their name, 3-0 in district. Their 1 loss was to Highland back in November. They're led by Texas A&M Corpus Christi commit, the number 22 player in Texas class of 24, Demarion Dennis, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. There's a lot of seniors on this team, a lot of veterans. They know what they're doing. Veterans Memorial, it's a great team.
Veterans Memorial, most of these guys started last year. You know, they have the maturity. I'm going Veterans Memorial. You know, Wagner, great team, and I believe they have a great future now. They may see each other multiple times. They have to play each other again in district later in the year, but they may see each other again in the postseason. So let's keep our eyes on that. But right now, I got to go with Veterans Memorial.
Wagner, those young guys could really put some sparks in there and just go crazy. But I'm still going to pick Veterans Memorial. Only 1 loss. They've been very consistent, playing some great basketball. So both going Veterans Memorial. Next up, Tuesday, January 9th, again, 5A. Number 19, Shoemaker, fresh into the top 25, and they're playing another ranked opponent, number 26, University. These 2 teams are fun. Shoemaker, 19-5, 3-0 in district play. They're on an 11-game win streak. A number of impressive wins this season from them. The wins that stand out to me are the 66-59 win over Johnson, who we talked about a bunch earlier, and a district win over Ellison, 67-56. Class of 26, D'Anthony Moore has been elite for them. In the win over Ellison, he had 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists. Talk about filling up a box score. Shoemaker is fantastic. Anthony Moore, just as a sophomore. I'll tell you what, Texas has way too many good sophomores this year. Talking about University, 19-3, also 3-0 in district play. Another extremely young team, led by mostly sophomores. Again, this team is going to be dangerous, to say the least, for the next couple of years. Class of 26, 5-star receiver for University, London Smith, has been hooping. You see, that doesn't really go hand in hand. Well, for him, it does. He is an athlete. He scored 19 points and 6 assists over the number 20 team Belton a few games ago. He's a shooter. He likes that 3 ball. Another player for them that has been going off, Keandre Brooks, coming off a first-team all-district season last year as a freshman. 2 great teams. Who you got?
Shoemaker. Give me the Wolves. I think they take down the Trojans this time.
You know, I have to agree with you. You know, I did a lot of thinking about who I'm going to pick beforehand, and I can't change it. I think D'Anthony Moore is a beast. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 5 steals, 4 assists. It's just ridiculous. Shoemaker's really fun. 11-game win streak. I don't think that snaps yet.
Same here.
Next game on Friday, familiar team, University. Again, they got 2 games in the games of the week. They take on Ellison, a team that we talked about. That district stacked, very, very stacked. Ellison unranked. They just dropped out, I believe. Yes, they just dropped out. They were number 20 before ended losing to Shoemaker, so they dropped out. The number 16 team, University, again, not going to talk about them. We already did. Ellison, 17-5, 1-2 in district play. They have lost to Shoemaker and Belton so far in district. And they're led by JoJo McIver, the number 17 player in the class of 25 in Texas. Several Division I offers for him. He's a beast. Super fun to watch. Ellison University, who you got?
University. Going University in that matchup. While University is young, I do believe they will bounce back from their loss against Shoemaker, and they'll take it against Ellison on Friday night.
You know what? I have highlighted on here University, and that I think they're going to take it. I'm going to do a last-minute swap.
Oh.
I'm taking Ellison. They're 1-2 in district play. They're going to swap it. They're going to come back, and I think they're going to win against University. JoJo McIver all the way on Friday. That's going to be a game to watch.
I love it. I love it.
A last-minute swap. You got to have them. You just got to have them. Another game on Friday. A great big game in 5A. Number 17, Mt.Pleasant versus Longview. Mt.Pleasant 18-5, 3-0 in district play, led by class of 26 Carter Chisholm. He averaged 17.5 points in the Allen In-N-Out Holiday Invitational. He's a baller. And then Longview 20-2, 3-0. Where's their ranking? You have only 2 losses. You got to get in the ranking. I know they're upset about that. They've had a number of blowout wins, big blowout wins. Their only losses are to Wiley East and Highland Park, 2 very, very good teams. Mm-hmm. I think the reason that they're not ranked is their strength of schedule hasn't really been all that difficult. However, against even if it's a bad schedule, you still lose teams if you're a bad team. Or still lose games if you're a bad team, Mm-hmm. They are not a bad team by any means. They're a very good team. They are led by Robert Blandberg, 6'8" senior. Extremely underrated, by the way. Not a lot on this guy. He deserves so much more recognition. He is a stud. 12.7 rebounds on the season he's averaging. And it's always nice when you're a team and you got a nice, athletic, long, big, like Blandberg. Super underrated player, like I said. Super fun to watch. And his defense is really what sticks out to me. He's a really fun defender, especially down there in the paint. Mt.Pleasant, Longview, who you got?
Longview, simple as that. I expect them to win this game in the paint. You took this conversation somewhere where I wanted it to go when it came to rebounding the basketball. That's why I'm taking them.
I like that, and I like it a lot because I'm also picking Longview. This is their biggest test yet on the season, and it comes in district play against a ranked opponent. They haven't had that this season. They haven't been able to play against a ranked opponent. So this is a big game for them. They win this game. I see them in the top 25. I think Mt.Pleasant, as good as they are, I think Longview can take this one. And I think Robert Blandberg, his name is going to be seen on Friday night. Next up, very fun game. One of my favorites of the season, Dallas Jesuit taking on Highland Park. A nice little rivalry. Gotta have them. Dallas Jesuit, great team. 16-4, 5-0 in district play. Now, District 7, very good district, but they're really led by 3 teams. It's Dallas Jesuit, Highland Park, and Richardson. And Dallas Jesuit actually plays Richardson on Friday. So right after they play Highland Park, they got to play another fantastic team. Now, they're led by junior Caleb Steger. I hope I'm saying that right. Caleb Steger, 17 points per game for him. Junior Michael Grant, 14 points, 6 rebounds per game. Senior, 6'8", Will Bronson. Now, he hasn't played in a couple of games. I hope he's all right, but he averages 12 points and 5 rebounds a game. Really fun team. A lot of great players. For Highland Park, 17-7, 5-1 in district. Their only district loss comes to Richardson, which was in overtime. They're on a 5-game win streak. I've been able to see this team many times firsthand. They're led by, like I said it, senior Jordan Stribling, 14 points, 6 rebounds a game. And a guy that is so fun to watch is junior Jacob Ario, who has been a beast on defense. Highland Park runs this 1-3-1 defense that is just ridiculous. A very, very great defense. And Jacob Ario, being the point guard that he is very, very fun. Very, very fun. Who you got? Silence is loud. The silence is loud.
You know, I want to say Jesuit, but the Scots, I think Coach Peel is going to have these guys ready to play. And, of course, Jesuit is going to be ready to play, too, because this isn't just a rivalry. It's a neighborhood rivalry. A lot of these kids, they know each other. Give me the Scots.
I'm with you. I have to pick the Scots. I think their 1-3-1 defense is really difficult. And if they need to switch out of it, they can switch out of it and still play some great defense. I got the Scots. Give me Highland Park. So far, we've picked a lot of the same teams. The only team that we haven't picked is Ellison, which I switched up on last second. Ellison versus University. I switched up on last second. So we have a very like-minded mindset. Maybe my previews are a little too one-sided, previewing who I'm going to pick. And you're like, well, you know, he makes a good point. I'm just playing. Another game, another really fun game. Both teams are ranked in the top 25. 6A on Tuesday night. Johnson, freshly ranked in the top 25, number 18, taking on a fantastic number 12 Lake Travis team. Johnson, 19-4, 6-0 in district play, coming off a huge win over Westlake. But can they keep it rolling? Senior Jackson Vandegaard doing his thing this season. A fantastic point guard to have at the helm of this very fun team. He's a great rim attacker. Expect to see him in the paint on Tuesday night. Senior Jack Untermeyer is another guy that gets it done and has been playing at a really high level this season. And obviously Sam McKinney, who we mentioned earlier in this episode. Now looking at Lake Travis, 21-3, 6-0 in district play, one of the best teams in Texas. They have struggled a little bit recently after losing by 23 to a really solid Lake Ridge team, and then losing to a 10-10 Plano team by 17 as well. So kind of a tough stretch for them, and it's going to be a really, really tough game, and this game could easily get them back on track if they were to win it. But they're led by one of the best players in all of Texas, 6'6", 4-star, class of 25, Hudson Greer. He's ridiculous, extremely versatile, can do just about anything, anywhere. Whatever he wants to do, he can do it. He's averaging 24 points per game and 7 rebounds. Like I said, ridiculous. But Lake Travis wouldn't be all that without the supporting cast. They have senior Chaz Beagle. He's got vision like no other. He's averaging 6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He had a ridiculous play earlier in the season with Hudson Greer. He had a behind-the-back dribble to get past a guy, and then he did a behind-the-back pass to Hudson Greer to get a dunk wide open in a lane. Chaz Beagle's ridiculous, and then senior Jaden Thomas averaging 12 points a game. Great supporting cast there. Johnson, Lake Travis. Let's hear it.
I'm going to go Lake Travis this time. Like you said, they have struggled, taking some losses on the chin against Plano. And they also have the loss of Stony Point at the buzzer. But lately they kind of been skating on thin ice a little bit. So give me the Cavaliers to get back on track. I think they'll get a nice 5-point win over Johnson this week.
We finally go against each other again. I'm picking Johnson. I love what they're doing. I think they keep it rolling. They've got so much momentum. In my opinion, they should be ranked a little bit higher than 18. And the fact that they weren't ranked last week kind of is a little disrespectful to me. 18 in the state, Johnson taking it. In my opinion, they're a fantastic team. Should be fun to watch that game on Tuesday night. The game of the week. To wrap it up here, the game of the week, another Tuesday night thriller. You will be at this game. For the second week in a row, Lone Star has the game of the week. Frisco Lone Star, number 9 in 6A. They take on, or 5A, excuse me. They take on number 10, the Colony, in a massive district game. This one will be in Frisco. Lone Star, 18-3. We've talked about them so many times. 18-3, 3-0 in district play, coming off a massive 10-point win like we previewed like we recapped over Newman Smith. They've been playing some of the best basketball in 5A. They're my 5A state pick. Been over that. They're led by 5-star sophomore Trent Perry, who honestly probably my favorite player to watch right now in all of Texas high school basketball. He is so entertaining, so athletic, just ridiculous. But we talk about him every episode. He's such a versatile player. He's got great pieces around him, like we talked about earlier. Amaru Martin doing his thing recently. But can they beat the Colony? 18-3, 3-0 in district play. They beat Newman Smith 61-42 on January 2nd. Let me say that again. 61-42. That is a massive win. They have 3 losses: Marcus, Midland Christian, and Louisville. Combine all their losses together, that's 9 total. Midland Christian has 5 of those 9.
Louisville has 1.
Yes.
Marcus has 3.
Yeah.
At the 6A level. And
ridiculous. They were down 38-24 at the half versus Frisco High School and had a 29-9 third quarter. They won that game 69-63. 4 players were in double digits. With them, it's always a team effort. The players on that team, let me just mention them because they are so good. Dakari Spear is legit. 4-star, class of 2026. Offers from Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech as a sophomore. You don't just get those offers for fun. That dude can ball. And he's got a great supporting cast as well. The sophomores, Bryce Dixon, Xavier Green. I'm telling you, I said it earlier, Texas is flooded with sophomores this year. I don't know what it is. The next few years in Texas high school basketball is going to be ridiculous. Anyways, Bryce Dixon, Xavier Green, they're playing some really high-level basketball. The Colony, really special team, and they're going to be doing some special things this season. Very excited for this game. It's going to be massive. I need to know, Matthew Brice. I need to know who you pick.
Well, first of all, let me say you should be doing promos for WWE or someone because the build-up that you just gave us for this game was epic.
It's deserved. It is well deserved.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that because you my guy. I'm saying this because this is real. Like, that was epic. That was fantastic.
I'm jealous you get to go and I don't. I'm very jealous.
How come you can't go?
I'm busy. I got play-by-play. Got play-by-play duties.
That's right. That's fair. I respect it. Man, Lone Star's at home. And I expect them to protect home court. Give me Lone Star.
Okay.
By 1.
By 1. Wow.
Give me Lone Star by 1.
I love Lone Star. We've talked about it so many times how much I love Lone Star.
We have.
I love the Colony. Fresh on my mind. Fresh on a lot of people's mind. They whooped Newman Smith. Lone Star coming off a 10-point win, obviously still a nice win, but it was a very competitive game. Mm-hmm. But I'm still going with Lone Star. I cannot go against Trent Perry. I can't do it. He is so good. I think he dominates this game. But I still think it's a very close game, back and forth. Lots of team basketball. Wouldn't be surprised if the Colony took it. Would not be surprised at all. A lot of youth in this game. Mm-hmm. If you're not at this game, you better have a good excuse. Because this game is ridiculous. Lone Star, the Colony, they play another time too, later down the road.
Right.
I believe the Colony also plays Newman Smith later.
They have not faced them.
Yeah, I think they play them.
They faced them once already.
Next. No, they don't. They play them on January 26th. So that district is ridiculous. Whoever wins it is going to stay undefeated in district play. Trent Perry over anyone right now, in my opinion. He's a beast. I'd take him over a lot of seniors and a lot of juniors. probably over every single senior. That's a hot take. However, I really like him. And that's the level how he's playing right now.
He's pretty good.
He's really good.
He's great.
I like him.
He is.
Well, those were the games of the week and the entire episode. A very fun one. I like the structure of this episode. And this is how we're going to kind of do it from now on, previewing, recapping games that we talked about. And upsets, players of the week, that kind of stuff. First few weeks, we're kind of just getting warmed up into the feel of Texas high school basketball. Now we're in the thick of it. District play is here. Playoffs, I'm not going to say they're around the corner yet, but they are a couple weeks down the line. And I can't wait for playoffs. Matthew, any final words?
Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening to us. Thank y'all for allowing us to be ourselves. This has been fun. Jake Dexter, thank you.
Big thank you to Jake Dexter. Man, he is killing it. He's going over and beyond for this podcast. Really appreciate him and the beautiful setup that we have here. Absolutely beautiful.
It is lovely.
Follow us on all socials. I believe most of our socials will be in the description. Our personal socials in the description. TXHS Hoops on almost every platform except for Twitter or X or whatever anybody's calling it. I'm still calling it Twitter. That is Texas HS Hoops. Overall, very fun week ahead in basketball. Stay tuned on socials. We'll be updating you. Live tweets coming on Tuesday night for Lone Star, the Colony. Going to be fun. He's going to be there. He better be there, or else I will be very upset. But that'll do it here for a fantastic episode 3. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.